Welcome to Moms in a Huddle. Thank you for joining us. I am Jillian Blackwell. I'm the mom of three amazing young men. My oldest is 23. His name is Big Mac. Mackenzie Blackwell. My middle son is Jonathan Blackwell. That's one of the reasons why we're here. He's a guard at University of Wisconsin. They're actually playing Illinois tomorrow. We just got off a plane and super excited about that game. Go Badgers. And then I have a younger son, a senior in high school. His name is Lil Rob. He's not little anymore, but he's a wonderful young man. We're deciding what he's going to do for his next journey in life. And so I have with us Erica. What's up, Erica?
Woo, 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 woo. Welcome to the huddle. We're in the huddle. No parent stands alone. I am your host, Erica Morgan. I am the mom of the Samaj Morgan, formerly the Samaj Morgan. Right. and national champion too. We got moms coming on as national champions today, so I'm super excited to talk to them. He plays now wide receiver at the University UCLA, and go Bruins. And it's taken me some time to get used to that, but it's an honor because he's down there having a great time. As it relates to my second son, I know he's 28 years old. I know I look 25.
Yes,
but that's my oldest baby, okay? That's the one that I first fell in love with 28 years ago when I first seen him. His name is Tyler. He told me, Mom, don't say my whole name on the podcast. Don't say my whole government name. I don't know what it is, but I will say welcome to the huddle. And in the huddle again, no parent stands alone.
Yes. So we are excited, Erica. We have a fantastic show. We talked about it earlier, champions. What does it mean to raise a champion? Right? But when they're in their sport, and we see them reach the pinnacle of their success within that area of their life, it is so rewarding.
Let me tell you, sometimes you don't know, but I'm excited to see what these moms felt when they were going through the process. I know in 2023, when Michigan won national champion, it was like every game was like a different ebb and the flow. You want to win. You want to be able to know, okay, I hope our boys make it. And as family, we're toughing it together. And for you to go an undefeated season, I would say I know these moms are just elated, because sometimes you don't know you're going until you're there, and when you got it, it's like surreal. So it's
amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, to be undefeated, right? I mean, you're excited when you say like you're the number one team or number two team and you have a couple of losses.
Yeah.
But to have 0 losses, that's amazing.
But you know what, Jill, when I think about it, you don't get there by one person doing a job, by two person doing a job, by 3. It's a teamwork. I was thinking about teamwork, unity, and leadership. And I thought about it from the biblical aspect, as we bring the Lord in on this. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift his fellow up. Then Romans 12:10 says, be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourselves. And then Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Let me tell you, these boys and the families, because it takes the families, these young men at the University of Indiana, the Hoosiers, I always get their names mixed up, but the Hoosiers, were sharpening one another.
Yes, they were.
From a great coaching staff. It has to start. They got there from being leaderships on the team. They got there from the iron sharpening iron and being devoted to the same mission in unity, Jill. So when I talk about leadership, talk about a teamwork, these young men were very impressive. And I think they won 16 games.
16.
And not only that, I believe they won the Big Ten championship. And the Peach Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, moms will correct me.
Yeah, they just kept going. We're just gonna rinse, wash, repeat. We won that. Well, let's just go to the next one.
Let's just go to the next one.
And go to the next one.
They get 4 rings. See, that's impressive enough. You don't just get a national championship ring. You get 4 rings. And I, like I said, I'm excited to talk
Do
with these.
the mamas get rings? Do the mamas get rings?
I actually have a necklace that's a ring.
Oh
And
my
yes,
God.
the parents can order
Okay.
rings. Well, I know Michigan let us order rings. We did
Okay.
order rings. I got a necklace that's a charm that holds the national and the Big Ten. But yeah, I'm pretty sure these parents are going to be able to order
That's
rings, order whatever they want. See, this is the time where you go through, and for the next year, unless you come back that next year to become national championships again, you got that bragging right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you do. You got that bragging right for the rest of your
Yes.
life. And these are people that you were in the huddle with, you were strategizing with, you
Yeah.
cried with, you celebrated with. You're going to remember these people for the rest. Those are moments, we have moments like that, I don't want to compare it to this, but like a birth of a child or a wedding, but these are
Yeah.
ceremonial moments that you didn't just do this alone. It's interesting that you mentioned that scripture. I was at church, visited one of my son's coach's church. So he is a coach, but he's also a pastor. And he talked about just that message. He talked about the message was about red flags. And one of the red flags he talked about was the Lone Ranger. And he was talking about in sports, when you find a Lone Ranger, you're not going to be successful because every team needs to support each other. So it was a really good example of teamwork within sports and teamwork within the dynamics of a relationship. When we use that scripture, you can go by yourself really fast, but if you want to be successful, you got to go with other people. And so I love that the Hoosiers showed that it is a team sport.
Yes.
They're going to dominate. Even the young man that's the quarterback, he always talked about his. I can't, I'm probably getting the one that's being interviewed, but I'm certainly not the one that made this successful. So I love that about that team.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you this: the head coach, Kirk Signetti. One of the things that I loved about him was his resilience. And one of the things that I'm super happy about is where UCLA, the head coach, Coach Chastney, actually was under his tutelage, his umbrella. And so when you got coaches that have groomed you, I didn't know it until they said, he came from James Madison, but Coach Signetti was one of those coaches, came in to Indiana and turned that program around to where these boys bought into whatever it was he talked about. Whatever it was he was selling, they bought into it. And here's the thing. They are national champion. And I guarantee you the parents bought into it too, because nothing's perfect. But when you have a great coach that's leading the team, those boys will run through a brick wall for that coach.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. Yeah. And what I loved about the coach, so humble.
Yeah.
It's nothing, there's a difference between, you see people that are confident and then they cross over to arrogance, but I never saw that. He was confident, but so humble. Even when they were winning, I was like, when is he going to get excited?
Right. Most coaches are waiting till the next game. You got to get to that end thing. You got to think forward thinking. You got to get to the next game. Yeah. You ain't got time to rejoice in the game 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 16 games. So that's beautiful.
So without further ado, even though I said this on my social media, even though the University of Indiana basketball team beat us on Saturday, I was texting TK. Ooh. I couldn't even watch it. I was like, it went over to overtime. I have friends I used to work with at Microsoft. They were texting me. I don't know who to root for. My son. And so they're just doing fantastic. And so we won't hold them against that. This is about sister love, about mom love. So without further ado, we're going to introduce these two wonderful moms who have agreed to spend their Monday evening with us. I just want to read a quick bio. TK Fayne, her and I, and she's no stranger to Moms in the Huddle. We had her and her son that was several months ago. Yeah. But TK and I knew each other at Amazon. So she's an MBA. She's a consultant, nonprofit founder, and public servant with 20 plus years of experience advancing community-centered growth through strategic partnership, resource development, and capacity building. She is the founder of TK Fayne MBA Consulting, where she helps organizations identify and align funding and opportunity to strengthen community locally, nationally, and globally, especially in areas with limited access to critical resources. Her work spans strategic Her work spans through strategic planning, funding alignment, and sustainable growth across social impact, education, and community development. TK is also the founder of Disparity Resource Foundation, a mission-driven nonprofit focused on closing gaps in financial, educational, technical, and institutional access for underserved communities. In its early growth stage, the foundation is building partnerships and infrastructure with the initial focus on Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas, centered primarily in Nashville and Memphis. In addition to her consulting and nonprofit leadership, TK serves as a Metro Nashville Public School District 5 school board member, advocating for equity, access, student success, and strong communities school partnership. Welcome to the huddle, TK. Thank you for joining us. And then we're going to bring to the huddle Charleena Hemby. Charleena is a seasoned football mom and entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience supporting two sons through every level of the game, from rec and high school to Division I football. You're the mom. You are in good company, honey. She is the proud mother of Indiana University running back Roman Hemby and brings a wealth of perspective from years spent navigating the realities of sports, family, and faith. Beyond the sidelines, she is a businesswoman with deep roots in her community. She has owned and operated a successful beauty salon. Did I come right?
I know.
Wait a minute now.
We got to go to Indiana to get our hair done.
Yeah, for over 25 years, and also a licensed real estate agent, a wife, and a mother of 5 adult children. Charleena joins Moms in a Huddle to share. Listen, we want both of them to share hard-earned wisdom, practical insight, and encouragement from decades of both of their lives on and off the field. Welcome to the Huddle, Charleena. We're super excited that you and TK again have decided to spend Monday evening with us.
Hello. Hi, Mom. Hello. Welcome to the Huddle. Man, the 2026 College National Football Champion.
That's right.
Y'all. We needed some music. What do you call that? What do you call that when they the extra thing? We don't have it, so we gave y'all a good applause. Okay.
Yes, we did. Okay. Yes, we did. Are y'all still smiling ear to ear? Like, what just happened? What just happened? Are your sons still smiling? What just happened?
Ooh. Definitely.
Well, their celebration for the most part got short-lived because they went right back into it, right back into practice, weightlifting, all those things. So it was very, very, very short-lived for them for the most part.
Yeah, because that's a long season, right, TK? You go from August all the way to January, and y'all had a later game this year. It was January 19th, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest. We went from January to January because remember, I dropped Kyler off in January.
Right.
So, because he went to college early. So, really, it was from it was from January until January for us. I guess that's for most people. Like, it just went a year. It's really year long, and that's new for me because this, of course, he's a freshman. This is his new first year in college, and so I was unaware that it's an all year thing.
Yeah, basically nonstop.
Say that again, Charleena.
It's basically nonstop. It is nonstop.
Well, first of all, I'm not a football mom. And so when my sons at a younger age wanted to play, I said, y'all practice every day outside? So you got to have some tough skin to be football moms.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do. Well, I will say, Charleena and TJ,
for sure. Like it's you don't really. If I didn't travel to Bloomington, I probably wouldn't get to see him as much.
Oh wow!
If I didn't make the travel to see
him. From TK again. Are you able to hear us, TK?
It's about maybe 3 hours.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm in Nashville, so it's like 3 hours, 45 minutes, like 3 hours and a half, 3:45.
Okay, well, Charleena,
where are you, Charleena?
I'm in Maryland, so I'm a bit further. So I'm traveling like it's an hour, 15 minutes on a plane ride, but if you drive, it's about 10. So we've done a lot of plane rides with him being in Indiana because we're from Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, take us back, Charleena. I want to talk with you first as it relates to your son, taking us back to the beginning. What year is this for your son, Roman? And take us back to when you kind of what TK was talking about, when you dropped him off. What were you expecting?
Yeah, so Roman has had a long journey in football. He's a fifth year. He was a fifth year transfer to Indiana from Maryland. So he was at Maryland for 4 years. He graduated from Maryland, got his degree, and then he had one eligible year left because the first year he was there, they redshirted him. So he had 1 year left. So we kind of strategically tried to figure out a way that he could boost his draft stock. And, pretty much went in a portal and utilized that to use his last year. And thankfully, Indiana was the choice. And it was a great choice.
Smart choice. Yes.
Yeah. So he was there only a year. So he's pretty much done. And right now he's in Florida training for the draft. Yeah. For the combine and everything.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Hey, what a way to end your season. You go from one school to another. And a lot of people don't understand that. Going into the portal, sometimes you go into the portal, you don't know where you may end. But just think about it, Ms. Hemby. He ended up as a national champion. What a way to tip off going into the NFL, right? What a way to do that.
Yes, definitely. It was definitely heaven sent. God was in control of that. He left Maryland kind of like not feeling the greatest about his stats, and me thinking, I don't think you need to, maybe try your hand in the NFL, given those stats, not when you have another year of eligibility. Yes. So let's be smart about it. That's pretty much what he did. And pretty much got to Bloomington, and it was just, you knew right out the gate in the visit that was where he needed to be. So the writing kind of was on the wall.
Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And so TK, so yours is a little different. Freshman. So Charleena, 4 years, kind of a senior tenured experience, right? Parents strategically thinking about taking advantage of your last year. TK, so straight out of high school, right? Freshman. That's amazing. So tell us about, your journey and what you were thinking about just in terms of when you got there and then now we're national champions.
Well, it happened really, really fast for me. I think the last time I spoke to you ladies, I mentioned Kyler just started playing football in the 9th grade.
Yep.
So he started playing football in the 9th grade. We like, okay, you want to play football? Because he was in private school. So then we went to public school. He decided he wanted to train and do football. We was like, okay, but Kyler had a million habits and things that he wanted to do growing up, and he just never stuck with it. Now, he's always been pretty smart. Like, that's one thing that's transparent. He was pretty smart. He knew he wanted to be a doctor. Those things never changed, but he played the guitar on the side. He played basketball. He wanted to be a producer at one point. He had all these habits. He went into tech for a minute. He was coding. He did all this stuff on the side that he was interested in. And so when he decided he wanted to train for football, we was like, okay, this is hobby number, 55. But of course, being parents, you like, all right, I'm gonna support him, do what he needs to do. So we started getting him into personal training to help with his agility and all of those type of things, because this was the young man who was maybe 5'4" previous to COVID, who grew during the year of COVID to like maybe 6'1". And so, he complained about his legs, his feet, his back. He was, always complaining about like his bones and stuff because of the growth of, of everything. And so we were taking him to this developmental place, and they did, basic fundamentals, not knowing that this is also a place where high school boys train on the side. So he had been talking to some coaches and stuff while he was there, but of course we didn't know. And then one day I got a call from a coach and was like, hey, we're interested in your son playing for us. Can we set up a meeting? Because we understand he's in private school. This is public, all of these things. And so I had a meeting with the coach. I had a meeting with the principal and staff. And I was just very clear, if this is what he wants to do, that's fine. But I'm a parent that's really, really about grades. And I was like, the moment that he's not doing what he needs to do in the classroom, he coming up out of here, because this is not what I had in mind. I'll say that I didn't foresee any of what I'm going through at this particular time. And it just went, that was 9th grade, 10th grade, they made it to state. And, he played in the 10th grade in that state game. And then by 11th grade, he was getting all of these different offers and conversations. And IU was the very first big school. Now, granted, it wasn't known for football at a particular time, but it was in the Big Ten. Like, we had done our research. It was in the Big Ten. We have an amazing medical program. We went up for a junior, I think it's junior visiting day or something like that, where they bring all the juniors that they're interested in. And this was actually their first year there, that entire staff. That was their first year. So junior day was, I want to say it was in January, and they had all just got there like that following November, December. And so that was their very first recruit.
That was a new staff. You said that was a new staff?
Yeah, they had just gotten there like November or December, and came to visit him at school that following January. And like 3 weeks later, we were up for junior visiting day or whatever. And at that particular time, he met with Coach Sig personally. I didn't get to meet with him, but he actually went to go meet with him personally. And he was like, Mom, they offer me, they want me to sign. And I was like, okay. Like, again, I'm new to all of this. And I was like, they got a great medical program. It's not that far from home, all the things or whatever. But then he had about, I don't know, maybe 20. He ended up with about 27 offers. He had Georgia, University of Memphis, Louisville, IU, Missouri. He had a pretty, lengthy. He had some choices.
He had some SEC offers.
He had some really good choices. And
he made the right
top schools that he was interested in.
He made the right choice.
He did. Oh, he did. And he did it all on his own. Like, we had no clue he was going to choose Indiana. And that's the school that he decided to go with, and we just supported him. And everyone was like, "Oh, it's not a football school," and we was like, "Doesn't matter. Like, this is where he wants to go play." And look at what they're saying now.
And it's amazing you keep saying it wasn't a football school. See, people really need to understand there's a time when the underdog come from under, and then they rise up. I do want to kind of go back. I think that TK, your baby being a freshman coming in and becoming a national champion is amazing. And a lot of kids can't say that their first year. But I will say, I wanted to go back and bring her baby up to the stage. Is he number one, Charleena?
Yeah, he's number one.
That's your baby. And here, look how stocky he looks. So here's the thing. Your baby plays one of the most difficult positions, I believe, on the field, which is the running back, right?
I agree. And they need to be paid more, right?
Here's the thing, not only paid more, but when I think about it, I'm listening to what you said earlier. He didn't have the stats he wanted at Maryland, right? And that sometimes it's just the business. It's what it is. But then he comes over here to Indiana, and now he's become a contributor. He got number one jersey. For you to get number one jersey, you got to be that dude, right?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. And to go back to the original question, I wanted to add some things about him as well. After hearing what she said, it's important to know like when they started playing as well. And that's impressive that he started playing in 9th grade. That's crazy, because I always say you can't make a kid play football. They have to want to play it because it's a contact sport.
Goodness.
Roman started playing football when he was 4 years old. And
Wow.
he has not stopped playing since. He has played every year, every game since he was 4.
That's great.
Wow.
So like it, to be able to do that, to be, resilient enough, dedicated enough. I mean, that to me, that speaks volumes. I mean, he pretty much knew out the gate that this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a professional football player. He's always said that.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a communications degree, but afterwards he wants to be still somewhere in sports, whether it's broadcasting around football. So yeah, that's pretty much his story as far as that's concerned.
And I love when we see the diversity in stories. Like every child family story is going to be different.
Yeah.
And you need to, we in my family, we have 3 sons. Every one of their journey is different. And you really have to, I mean, you talk about 4 years old, 9th grade, you got to, as a parent, you got to be listening. Yes. And then willing to, TK, you talked about making sacrifices just in terms of investing. That was an investment from 4th grade, from 4 years old all the way. So you have to be very attentive to and very intentional about listening to what your children want or don't want, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but I want, if moms are listening or dads are listening, your story doesn't have to be like Erica's story, Jillian's story, Charlena's, or TK. Mm-hmm. And so it does not have to be a cookie cutter. Even when we think about kids who may not start at a Division I school, don't give up. We hear story after story of someone who wasn't a 5-star, 4-star, and they playing in the NBA and in the NFL. And so my sentiment or my statement to the parents who are listening, if your child is passionate about what they're doing, provide what you can, the opportunity to make sure they have that pathway and you support their dreams and their aspirations. And so I love, again, just the diversity. You got a kid said, got a bunch of stuff he want to do, which is wonderful. 9th grade said, I want to play. But another kid, 4 years old, my son was just like that. Backpack. I'm gonna stuff in his backpack. He got a Nerf football, Nerf basketball, Nerf something. And I said, what you doing? He was like, I just want to be ready just in case something jump off.
You have to figure it out, as when they're younger, you don't know what they want, what they're gonna be good at. So as a parent, I think it's your obligation to let them try different things and whatever, he played basketball and did other things, but just so happens football was the thing that he really loved. He played basketball all the way up until 11th grade. And he'll tell you now, I'm the one that made him stop, because I'm like, what do you really want to do? Because at this point, basketball is just taken away from football. If you don't see yourself being a professional basketball player, which I didn't see. I played basketball in high school, and I'm like, you're good, but I don't think you're that good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to choose one at this point. And he'll say, Mom made me stop. Yeah, pretty much, because the time that you were devoting to basketball, you could be training and honing in on your craft for football. And that's literally what he did. Basketball, so demanding. I think they had 3 games a week. They were traveling. When's time for football? So like he had to lock in 11th grade. And, from that point, it's been like football ever since.
That's awesome.
But look where he is now. And I will say, TK, I want you to go back to the moment when, think about when your baby may have called you, if he did, because I remember when your baby was on here, he was walking through the facility. He had such a personality about himself. I'm like, go ahead, Kyler. But take us back to this, right? The tough games, maybe even the mistakes, the hard weeks that maybe Kyler was having when you had to talk to him and impart it to him and say, baby, keep on going. Take us to the moment where maybe he felt, Mom, listen, I just need to talk to you about some things. And this is how I'm feeling going through becoming a national champion, but didn't know he was going to be a champion, right? And that's for both you guys.
Yeah. So he was So Kyler was red-shirted this year. He only dressed out for 1 game at the beginning of the year. And I think that was hard overall for him because he really, really wanted to play. And which we tried to tell him as you're a freshman. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's hard for most boys. I think it's hard for most boys who have been like superstars on the field in high school, right? Like and what I try to tell what I told him and some of his peers one night at my house, because they were all getting ready to graduate and go to college and do all these things. College doesn't recruit the water boys, right? So everybody can play. Like everybody that gets a scholarship at school was great, was good at their school, and in their seasons. And it's like, when you get to college, yes, these are your teammates, but at the same time, there is a level of competition, right? Because there are 4, 5, 6 people that play the same position. Sometimes those people are your friends, sometimes they're your roommates. You know what I mean? But when you get on the field, it's competition. It's very, very competitive. You know what I mean? You every day you are going against the grain of those of people. And then, like you said, with the portal, it that changes a lot of things, transfers. There's many things that go into it now. And I'm just learning. I learned a lot from that call with you all in the meeting, the first podcast that we had, because this is all new to me. You know what I mean? And I'm very blessed and grateful that we are in this lane and that we are able to have these conversations. But there also was a lot of things that I don't know or that I'm not aware of. Now, his father played football on a collegiate level, coached all those things. And so he has a different level of understanding. I take on more the mom role. And so anytime my baby is upset, so am I. If that makes any sense. Yeah. But you know what I mean? And I'm like, who did it? Who I got to talk to? What I got to do? His dad is very much like, no, this is not how that works, girl. This is, this is college, and you got to allow him to be a man and figure these things out and have these conversations himself. But I just want to fix everything. So to answer your question, Erica, when he calls me and he's upset or he's not feeling his best about certain decisions or things that are happening, I get upset. I get angry. I want to help him. I want to fix the problem, because that's what I'm very much used to doing. And he's very much used to me doing that. But now I'm starting to have the conversations with him. Like, this is trying to coach him about how to handle certain things and how to have certain conversations at a young man level. Because I do believe that there is a level of respect when you can properly advocate for yourself. Yes. Versus talking to the parents a lot of times. Like, I stayed out of it in high school as much as possible. And I definitely don't think it's my place to do anything on a collegiate level. But at the same time, I straddle the fence with that, because these are our kids. These are their futures. And I just want to make sure that the decisions are not only promoting developmental and growth in other areas, but also just making sure that he has a future ahead of him. And what does that look like, right? Yes. And so, I straddle the fence. Like I said, this is all new for me. It's a year. But I do straddle the fence of, hey, let me say something, or maybe I should say something, or I should set up a meeting. And him and his dad are just like, no. Like, we don't, I
will say this, TK, your child, and what a lot of people don't realize, he redshirted this year, and he's going to become even greater coming up. But here's what I want to point out to the parents that are listening. Even though a kid redshirts does not mean he doesn't practice and is on a scouts team learning the other team plays. And that's what make it so pivotal for the national champions to become the national champion when they're at practice. And your son, like Kyler, that redshirt, has to learn the other team plays.
Yeah, he was on the scout team, and he actually got Scout Player of the Week twice. So,
and that's what
he was doing a good job. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I want.
And I told him that. Yeah.
Yes. And
you're right, Erica. And I told him that. I was like, you contributed to the team, whether you dress out or not. Like, those boys are playing against you every day at practice. You're like, our offensive team is playing against you every day.
every day. And look at they have proven themselves to be the best team in the country. And it wasn't because the 11 that touched the field. It was because all of them, the 105 of them that are there, that play against one another. And I will say this, I heard both of the moms and even Charleena mentioned for her son Roman, that her son he had a 5th year because he redshirted. I'm gonna tell you this, my son, although he did not redshirt, he only had 4 years. But do you know his first year was one of his greatest years? He played every game, but his next 2 years was not the years that he won. Mm-hmm. So he had what you call a flow, then an ebb, and he's trying to figure this thing out. And then things happen, right? Life happens, but it doesn't mean that they don't all get to that same journey or where they're trying to get to. And everything does not mean that everything's going to come to you. See, Kyle is learning. Like I said, these boys played the scout teams. And if had it not been for the scout teams playing against the 11, they probably wouldn't have won the championship, to where iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
And for you, Charleena, give your son came in, this is his 4th year. I mean, his 5th year, his transfer, and then he comes here. It makes an impact. So how do you switch your satellite from, okay, he didn't get the stats, but here's now, we're here and they're utilizing him?
Yeah, it basically just what you said happened, where he redshirted like your son did. The first year they redshirted him. And then when his sophomore year, he kind of had a breakout season. He did really, really well. Mm-hmm. The next year, he didn't do as well. Then the year after that, it went down even more. And that was his last year. So it was like, you kind of don't want to come out on that. So that's why we made that move, to Indiana in the first place. But it's really hard for them because, like she said, coming from being a star at your high school, whatever, playing every game and all that, then you get to college and you still want to do that. You still have the mentality. I know I can, be a big part of the team. I can help. I can contribute. Sometimes you may even feel like you're better than what's on the field. But at the end of the day, the coaches, I thought I was like, look, I think you better running back. And he's like, Mom, I'm not. He's like, I have to learn the plays. I have to figure out the playbook. And so, they take a seat. They do what they have to do. And like you said, they play the scout team or whatever to help the team scout for the teams that they're playing. But it's not hard for them because they have to, get used to not playing. And I think that's the hardest part when they've been playing and been a big part of a team.
Yeah.
So as a parent, that is kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
I'm the type of parent, I may be a little more in some stuff, because I will call a coach. I will.
And so I was gonna ask you, and I was gonna ask you that. I was going to ask you that
but that's you. I'll call a coach because
you all have been in it a little longer than I have, and so I'm like, have you ever what is the feedback from that? Because I don't have an attitude. I just want some clarification,
want some answers
on some things, and so I'm like,
you want some clarity, and so my take on it is this. I feel like when you were recruiting my son, it was an open door policy. You gave me, FaceTime. Here's my direct number. Here's this. I'm the parent away from home. You gave me all that. So I'm secure in feeling that that's what I'm getting. So that's what I'm expecting at that point. So if any time and, his bout or his stay there, I'm feeling I have some questions or whatever, I shouldn't have it shouldn't be a problem me hitting you up like, can we have a meeting? Can we talk?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem because that's my child, and I'm giving him to you. I'm turning him over to you, hoping that you have his best interest at heart. And unfortunately, everybody may not. So you can't always do that. People are going to be people, humans are going to be humans. So at the end of the day, if you as a mom, as a parent feel like you need some questions answered, who's stopping you?
And you sound just like me. I had a conversation with Erica when we talk about we're handing you our child. But what I'm also learning is this is a business.
That part.
It is a business now more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes, you know, you talk to agents, you talk to people who have been in the business on a professional level, they can coach you through what are the things that are the utmost important that you want to reach out and call, or are there some other ways? I mean, I have had conversation with my husband, and he has educated me on some things. Babe, don't worry about that. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
Jonathan's gonna walk. He's gonna get through this. So it is for a mom. It is so hard because they're gonna. I don't care if they 99. They always gonna be our baby.
Yeah, but look, this is my thought. I'm not calling you to say, why is Roman not playing? Because that's Roman's responsibility.
Right. Yep.
You know what I mean? If he's not, I don't know. I'm not there. Yep. So I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I don't know what he's doing in practice. Is he learning the plays? Is he doing what he has to do? Good. I'm pretty much sure he is, because he's always been that kid.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you on that. What I'm calling you on is my child's future, because he's there with a goal. That goal is the next level. And if you're not putting him in position to achieve that goal, now I just want to understand. You know what I mean? And I don't think that question should be something that can't be asked. Like, I want to make sure we're on the same page. I shouldn't have to guess.
That's good.
Assume.
Absolutely.
You know, and whether they're going to tell you the truth or not, that's on them.
Yeah.
But if you say it to me, I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to trust it. And then I'm going to look for results.
Yeah.
And then if I don't see results, I'm probably going to call you back.
That's good.
And you know, that's just me.
Yeah.
It's not my husband.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's not my husband. It's me. My husband is quiet. When the agents call, when the people call, they call
That's
me.
his dad. His dad won't say a word. His dad won't say a word, but I'm like,
I don't have that.
I mean, my antennas go. My mama antennas go up. Like I'm like, I just want to. I don't know. I can't. We can't fix everything, right? Because these are young men that are going into grown men, right? They're becoming men, and so certain areas you have to allow them to kind of navigate themselves. But I know my kid. You also know your kid, right? Like you know your kid, and it's like if you sometimes need to get to the bottom of something, you may have to do that as a mom. But I also don't know how that's respected in that on that level, if that makes sense. And so it makes me a little nervous about that.
Yeah,
go ahead. Look at it from two perspectives, right? I am the mom that I'll feel a certain way. I'll be angry. I'll be upset. But my husband is the one that's going to go talk to these men to men, because you got my son and here's the situation. I want to know what y'all doing with him. And are you breaking his spirits, or what's happening with him, with his mind mentality? Because I think I hear Charleena, we kind of got like the same stories with our boys, even though your son has one more year where you come out and you were this shining star, then you have this ebb, and then everybody is not checking in on your kid. So my husband did talk with the coaches, but I'm gonna tell you this, the second part, as a mom, I remember being at Michigan this past year, and there was a mom on the team, and I respect her to the utmost. I'm not gonna mention her name, but when I say as a mom, because I don't think that young man's father was in as much as involved as she was. When I say she was on them coaches' heads, from his position coach to the head coach, and got in their tail, whatever it was, do you know her son was became one of the stars. They were forced to put him on the field. At one point, they didn't want to put him on, but it came to a point they had to put him on, you know, because we were having the season we were having. And if that mama did not stay on them coaches' heads about her kid and what his ability was, her kid probably wouldn't be here or where he is today. And he's one of the faces of Michigan today.
That's
and
awesome.
I applaud her for that, because a lot of parents think, here's how I look at it. A lot of parents think, well, if I go complain to the coach, and I'm not saying you should go complain to the coach, pray about it and ask God about it, and then have wisdom about it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Number one, but there are moments, who is going to speak up for your kid when they're either not speaking up or others are not speaking up for you? And you know what's happening. Sometimes you're just going to have to sit down and say, hey, coach, can we just have a conversation? I just want to where are we going here and what's happening here. How long my baby gonna get on the field? Like you say, I just need to know what is happening because we are our kids' biggest advocates, and they only have this short time span, right?
The short window.
And we hand you our kids. So by the time I hand him to you, I'm going to make sure that how you handling him is correct, right?
I love that. And one of the things, Eric, I just wanted to say this. One of the things, the conversation we're having is raising a champion. And a champion knows that I got support and I got backup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, a champion knows my job is to play, but I also have parents and a support team that's going to make sure the pathway is not hindered. They're going to pick up the things. They're going to have the conversation. That's a heart of a champion. I'm a warrior on the field, but I also have warriors supporting me when the conversations need to be had. So I want to go to the next question. Erica, you want to ask the next question?
Which one? Girl, we got so many.
I know.
Here's what y'all gonna find. When y'all come on Moms in a Huddle, we start getting into a flow because other things come up. We detour from our questions. So let me go.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So, let's do this. I don't know if you guys experienced this. I'm going to go to question 9, dealing where it talks about how did you handle the pressures, the criticisms, the injuries, the expectations, and the high stakes during the season, because you guys just didn't become champions and everybody was just, hey, you guys had some things happening there. I'm pretty sure that maybe the public was saying, or maybe your kids were saying, or the school was saying. How do you guys handle those things throughout this year? Either mom can start first.
I'm gonna let Charleena go because she was first. I feel like she was right in the fire of it all. So go ahead.
I don't know. I would just say that in football or any sports in this day and time, I would say the kids have to have tough skin, because you have social media and people saying things, and I never understood that anyway, because I always say, look, these kids, they put their life on the line for our entertainment. That's what it's about. I mean, they're gaining something from it too, because they're working towards a goal. But at the end of the day, it's a game. And I tell my kid, like, after turf walk, when we had turf walk or the walk or whatever, I'm whispering in his ear, I'm saying, have fun, because I want you to enjoy what you're doing. I don't want you to be worried about, what they're saying on Twitter or this, that, and the other, because who are they anyway? What do they even matter? At the end of the day, you need to pray about it and keep it moving. That's it. That's where we live. We pray about it and we keep it moving. If things don't happen the way you think they're supposed to happen, it wasn't meant to be. If you put your heart into it, you did everything right, hey, learn your lesson out of it. It may not be what you wanted it to be, but when that happens, my kids, I think they sometimes they like, because when they have something that happens, they come to me, I'm like, must not have been meant to be. It wasn't God's will. And that's all I got, because that's what I believe.
That's good.
So as far as injuries and things like that, I do have a running back. So that is the hard part. Thankfully, he hasn't been, he hasn't had anything major happen, but, bumps and bruises, and, he's upset because maybe he can't, do the things that he thinks he should be able to do or whatever. I just say pray about it at the end of the day. That's what I got.
You said pray about, I got the quote in here. You said pray about it and keep it moving. I love that
part. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. TK, what's your thoughts?
So I argue with the people online. Like I am that person that I argue with the people online. I have my stats. I have my facts. Like, but I'm a data analyst by day, Julie. You know that. So it's like when you start, first of all, I look at not only Kyler, but I look at the entire team of those boys as my boys or my team. That's just how I am. Like, I'm not just advocating or rallying for Kyler. I'm rallying for every Roman, everybody that dresses out on that field, everybody that practice, all of that. And it really grinds my gears when they don't want to give Indiana the respect. Like, they beat Alabama for the Rose Bowl, and we had to hear flat, hear flat, it was a fluke or this, or we had to hear that, and then we turned around. Well, first it started before the Big Ten championship with Ohio, right? Like everybody just knew Ohio with all these, like you say, 5 stars, 6 stars, whatever. We're just gonna come through and just like steamroll, Indiana. Like it was gonna be the blowout. And then when we finally won, that wasn't enough. It's like never enough. It was well, this person didn't have their best more.
Who got the last laugh though? Because all that all that meant nothing. Because at the end of the day, and that's what I look, I heart stuff.
Exactly.
When I see you say something, and I'm like, they say negative stuff or whatever, I'm a heart it because I want you to know I saw it. And then beat you. Sometimes they'll delete it. Like I'll heart it and I go back and they'll things down. Yeah,
right.
It's
tough.
And he doesn't suck. So
it's tough. But me and Erica talked about, you can't put your faith in fans because they'll like you on Tuesday and hate you on Friday.
I got a lot of that. Maryland.
They're very fair weather fans. They're very fair weather fans. And it almost like it hurt people to congratulate Indiana. It was like, even from the broadcasters and stuff like that, it's just like it was bothering them. Yes, like they were very negative. And to this day, like I follow a lot of podcasters and stuff. They've had all kind of players from Ohio, Alabama, and they've never invited anybody from Indiana on the podcast and stuff like that. And I'm like, these are the winners. These are the champs. Like, and I commented one day on one of it. I think it's I can't remember. It's a former NFL player that has a podcast. I forget what they call it, but I commented and I was like, it's really crazy to me that you bring, and I'm really proud of all the boys, any boy, whatever team that's successful, doing good. I'm not that person to be like, oh, it's not Indiana, forget them. But I just find it very frustrating that you bring all these players from Miami, Alabama, Ohio, or whatever, but you have not invited any of those boys from Indiana to this national platform of a podcast, and they are the champions. They are the people who won it all. And wow, that's crazy to me.
It all stems from Indiana
being like people don't want to respect them.
It stems from them being a losingist program, I believe. That's what I think it stems from, because at Maryland, we played Indiana, I think almost every year that we were there. And it was a given win. Okay. Yeah. It's like, we winning that one. If we ain't win that, we're gonna win them. So the last year, me and my husband went to the Indiana game because it was a away game, and I went there confident. I was like, oh yeah, we about to win, had my little Roman Hemby stuff and all. They slaughtered us. And they were the losingest team. Literally they were the losingest team in history. Wow. So you gotta think you had this man come in and he changed the program in 1 year, 2 years. But so it's like people are stuck in they can't buy into it for whatever reason. Even though the writing is on the wall, they still have them looking like they're not a football school.
Yeah, the culture has changed. We're not the same we were years ago. Wow.
Not the same Indiana. And I peeped that when I went, because like I said, I went there thinking we got this win. And we didn't have that win. They beat us. And I'm looking like, wow, this is not the Indiana I remember. Oh, and so I really believe that was the game. I'm almost certain that was the game that Signetti seen my child, because Roman, they had like one of the top run defenses, and Roman ran all over them. He scored once or twice. Like he was having his way with Indiana, even though they were, I think they only lost one game in the season. Wow. So that's why I think they're doing that. But I think they're stay, so they might as well get used to it.
Right. We're winning team.
Yeah. I think that's the sad part, because people get used to you being the loser, right? And what happened, and that's in life, when people don't think, oh, they shouldn't be the one to win. Everybody have in their mind who should win, right? And then when someone else win, that comes, like I say, the underdog, the losing this program, and then y'all come in and y'all win, everybody just looking. They have what you call, I call it being fake. Like, oh, they won. Well, congratulations. You don't mean it, but you're just saying congratulations. But these boys worked their tail off. The coach came in here and changed the culture, because one of the things that makes a winning team, a championship team, is the unity that they have with one another.
Yeah.
Everybody else is out there. So it was them against everybody else out there.
It just made them better.
It just made them harder.
Made them better.
Work harder.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you sometimes that motivates you more. Are you doubting me? I'm gonna bring
this.
Watch this. Eat my dust.
Yeah.
Wow. People like to see you win. They don't want you to win. They wanted you to stay to lose in this program, right? But no, I came up like the Phoenix.
Yeah. And like TK said, it was like that the whole year. I mean, I remember going back to the first thing, even before the season even started, they had, the rankings or whatever. And we were all the way down here somewhere. And Illinois was up here based on who returned. They weren't even basing that on like what they did in the past. It was based on the return players. So our first big game was Illinois, and it was like we slaughtered them. So then after that, it's like, oh, okay, next game. Then it was going to Oregon at Oregon. Oh, that's a hard place to play. They're gonna.
Yeah, the flight. They factor everything in. They got to fly out there again. All the adjustment and the time.
Every game and every week, it was what she said. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're not going to beat Ohio State. Yeah, they beat Ohio State. There's like, oh, Alabama, SEC. Yeah, they're not going to beat them. Beat them real bad. They just never gave them credit. They really didn't. But it just did nothing but put.
Never gave them credit. They went undefeated. Won it all. And you hardly ever, like I said, I hardly ever see those boys get invited to do any of the podcasts or anything. And I'm just like, that is so insane to me. Like not only do they have to play against the fair weather fans and all of that, these are people with public platforms. Who are still like doubting doubting these kids or whatever. And I'm like, they're good. It's okay for you to say that they're good, like it's all right.
I knew Michigan. I'm thinking that Michigan probably did. When we saw how great in the run that y'all were on, Michigan parents, I'm talking from the parents, not the players' perspective, because I know our boys think they can get in front of everybody and they're going to play. But from the parents, I was like, I don't know if we should be in Indiana, because y'all were on a run. And the run that y'all were on, y'all weren't just playing football. Y'all were beating people, like beating people. It was like y'all went out there, y'all were playing like hula hoop. Okay, who's next? It wasn't y'all had like it's like y'all came with a vendor. Y'all wasn't playing with anybody. So I'm thinking that my parents was like, oh my word. If we're going to play Indiana. So, but I am glad y'all beat that team in the other state called Ohio.
Of course you are.
So glad y'all.
Well, listen, ladies, we're getting close to the hour. I would love to hear, one of the reasons why Eric and I started Moms in the Huddle is because we say no parent stands alone. And one of the things that we try to do is educate, advocate, collect as much information as we can to give it to the next parent. And so what advice would you give to a new parent, either coming into college, entering the transfer portal, perhaps, need to go their 5th year? What advice would you give them just in terms of your journey, that they can be the advocate for their child, make sure they're strategically thinking about what their next step is, put in a support. What advice would you give? I don't want to, lay it out for what advice would you give? I'll start with Charleena.
Yeah, basically what you said. you was giving the advice. Right. But, definitely be an advocate for your child, because at the end of the day, we have their best interests at heart. I mean, I'm not going to put 100% of that in any coaches, because that's not their kid. They could tell you whatever, but at the end of the day, you be your child's advocate. That's for one. I just feel like in this world of the portal and the NIL, just be smart. I mean, I would not have my child jump into the portal if I didn't have a home, because there's a lot of kids that do that. They'll go in a portal because they're not happy with where they are, but they don't have another home. They're just in there waiting for somebody to pull them out. 9 times out of 10, they'll wind up on, at a lower level school or something like that, just because, they didn't do it the right way.
Right.
I mean, outside of that, I just think that you definitely need to be a support system for them, because they do have a lot, as we know, they go through a lot behind the scenes. It's a lot of sacrifices they have to make and things that they have to do. So, I wouldn't feel bad about, if you have to call a coach up or, do those type things. I just wouldn't, because at the end of the day, this is their life and they have one opportunity. It's like, and that window is very short. And if the end goal is the NFL, it's literally 1% that makes it. So when you think of all the kids that play in football, whether and that's their goal, 1%. That's not a lot.
Right.
So it's serious. It's serious to me. And, as dedicated as my child is, I'm going to do anything I can do to help him, have his dream come true. So that's basically what I do.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that, Charleena.
I'm gonna piggyback. I'm gonna plus one off of Charleena with being the biggest advocate and support system. Because there are so many things that those kids are going through. And for my kid, he's 18. You know what I mean? Like, I think of most 18-year-olds and I'm just like, you got the whole world in front of you. There's so many distractions. You're not 100% sure of who you are yet, right? Like, right. You don't even know who you are as a person yet. And then you're trying to take on this big role, because now this team, all eyes are on Indiana. You know what I mean? And so it's like you saw it as an opportunity to play football on a collegiate level. And although you believed in the program, you had no idea that it was going to take off to this magnitude and so quick. Like it happened really, really quick, really, really quick. And for me, it's just, from a parent's perspective, I just think it's very important to check in on your kid. We used to have a call every Sunday. Of course, this whole year, that stuff fell off, and I have to text, like, hey, you busy? Call me. You know what I mean? And most of the time when I text, everything's fine, right? Like, everything's always good. Everything's fine. It's real short. It's cool, or I'm good, or I did well. But then when we have that conversation, the longer we talk, things come into play over time. So get on the phone with your kid. Get on the phone with your kid. Talk to your kid. Tap in regularly, just to check on their mental stability. Because that's a lot. It's a lot that those kids go through and navigate through, for sure. Good.
And I'll add to that, if you get on the phone, but sometimes get in a plane, surprise them. I did that to my child. I need to see. He was calling me halfway on FaceTime. I said, oh no, somebody get on a plane and go see your child.
Yes.
Because they're trying to be me, and I want to tell mama, oh no, we're gonna talk. And so I was right. He was dealing with something. So use your intuition, your God-given intuition, because to your point, TK and Charleena, there's a lot they're going through. Sometimes, my husband said this to he said, imagine, Jill, he said, sometimes it's days that you don't want to work, right? You don't want to go to work. He said, those kids they have a regular routine.
No break.
Go to practice. It ain't no
break.
He said, he was complaining about some of the analysts, and he said, they talking about, can you play 40 minutes? He said, that boy tired, right? and so there are times when your child just want to be a student.
Yeah.
Go to a football game if you're a basketball player, right? Go to a baseball game. So sometimes you got to go, and we were real big on mental health, and we bring in mental health expert. go check. I love that. Go check on your child. And if you can't do it by phone, get on the plane, drive 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever you got to do, just to look in their eyes, say, no, well, so what's happening? What we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I will say, you moms, I mean, what I like about you guys showing up today is your authenticity of talking to us. A lot of times parents don't want to share their personal struggles, their things that they go through with their kids or a program, but you guys came on here, you were candid, and I think it's beautiful. But normally I don't do this, but before you two leave today, I want to say right now and pronounce and pray over Roman that's going to the combine. Lord, I thank you in Jesus' name that he shall do exceedingly abundantly above all that he can ask or think that's going to happen for him. And I also thank you, Father God, he has favor, supernatural ability, and that when he goes in front of these scouts, that they will see him and will want him, and he will go and accomplish his dream. Father, I also pray for TK's son, little Kyler. I thank you, Lord, he will have the most amazing year this year, that he will have favor, that he will go above and beyond as a player. Lord, give him supernatural ability. And for both these young men, I thank you that their gifts will make room for them and bring them before great men.
Ooh,
Thank you.
Moms,
Oh, Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Me and Jill love you. And
yeah.
Jill, anything else you want to say, sis?
No, that was amazing. So we're going to ask Shamaj and Jonathan through that prayer in the name of Jesus. We thank you for Shamaj's new place in California, Father. We thank you right now for favor with the coaches, favor with his teammates. We thank you that they play in unity and in oneness, Father, because you said that's where you command your blessings, Father. I pray for Jonathan and his team that they're playing. The University of Illinois just happens to be my husband's alma mater, but I thank you for favor for the team, that they'll get the victory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. That's what we moms and y'all. We cannot not bring Yeshua and Jesus in here. That's who we are.
Yes.
Because we was moms, we was his.
Yes.
So,
and the dogs are trying to get moms in the huddle. Get down.
Thank you, ladies. Have a
Thank you for having us. Nice meeting everyone.
Wait a minute. I just want to say this. I know y'all had a long season. TK and I were trying to get this, but I just want to thank you, TK. I want to thank you, Charleena. I just wanted people to hear the voices of the moms, because the boys are going to get the limelight and the rings, but we as mothers do so much, and dads, but we as mothers, we pray for our sons. We want the best for our sons. And at the bottom, at the end of the day, we want them just to be happy. And so I just thank you for just joining us. We count it an honor and privilege when you take time out. We don't count it for granted. We know we have full-time jobs. We do a number of things. We're mommies of other kids. So thank you so much for joining us for Moms in a Huddle. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. God bless you.
Y'all for having us.
Of course.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, Jill.
That was wonderful.
So I tell you, moms, you gotta love moms.
Yeah.
You gotta love mom. I love dads too, Jill, but you gotta love moms for who they are.
Listen, I love the authenticity. They were like, "Oh, we gonna call." I'm the mama that's gonna quote. I'm the mama that's gonna make a comment. I love that.
Yes, and the beauty.
Don't be talking about my and I love. And you say this all the time, Erica. We're not just rooting for our child. I love what TK said. She said, "Don't be coming for the team," basically, because I'm gonna come for you. That was amazing, and I love saying, "Listen, you made some promises to my child.
Yes,
you were recruiting my child. Now I'm gonna call you on it."
And I think one thing I like that Charleena brought that up. Sometimes people be scared to say that. They just be so opportunity to be at the school. But Charleena, you courted me when you got me here, right?
Yes.
And now you get me here, I can't say nothing.
Listen, think about that in a dating relationship. You said all this stuff when you were dating me. When you gonna deliver? And if you ain't deliver, I'm gonna call you on it. I'm going to call you on it. You ain't took me out.
to talk about it. And that's why I love it. So we just finished talking to the national championship.
Yes, we
did.
did.
2026 national champions. We're going to give them their reward. Coach Signetti and all these boys from Kyler, from Roman, from I think Mendoza. He was the quarterback. It's like these Mendoza, I think. I'm saying a boy named wrong, but these young men went and they came and they conquered.
Yes,
they
did.
So let me tell you, and no one can take that from them.
Nobody.
No one can take that from them.
Heart of champions.
Yes. So Jill, I love you. I know next week we got a show coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but we may be talking.
We may be talking, but we have a lot. We have athletes.org that are going to be coming on. I'm working on something with a woman from the NBA. I'm super excited about that. So we got some great moms, professionals, and players that are coming for our next few episodes that are coming up in the Q1 of 2026.
Yes. So I will say, if you haven't already done so, like, comment, and subscribe. And also make sure you join us for our next show. And remember, in the huddle, no parent stands alone. Love you, Jill. Have a blessed one.